Mr. Merritt is here. Zach Merritt's dad has told us that we are actually on the air today. A lot of you emailed in last week on Tuesday, and I didn't get those emails until Tuesday night because we had an email outage. No wonder I was having trouble. But we know you're listening today. If you'd like to tweet me at Greg C. Jacobs, let me know you're listening. I'll check that in a minute. Sean Agee, the center referee, he blows his whistle and says, "Let's play some soccer." Here we go. It's the Tigers in possession to start. We are underway at the class of 2006 track, Woodbury Forest varsity soccer against the Seahorses of Christchurch. Justin Park, the defensive star from Tuesday's game, gets the ball up to Edo Douglas, who puts the ball forward for Bradley Stager. Stager gets a foot on it and gets it to Joe Foley. Foley outside. He missed practice yesterday with the ends of the flu, but he gets the ball to Nolan Day, and he seems to be almost full strength. Woody Scruggs with the through ball to Stager. Stager tries to get a foot on it, but it is eaten up by the goalkeeper, Parker Kirkmeyer.
Nice inside pass there by Scruggs, but about a foot too long for Stager to get a hold of.
Zach Merritt with the defensive header starts a break to Stager, back to Foley, and the Tigers are going to reset to Woody Scruggs. Scruggs up to Jimmy King, the goal scorer from Tuesday. He put the game away with his just tap in off of Joe Foley's excellent cross. 2-0 the final there against EHS. We're just underway, 1 minute in, and the Tigers are on the attack. Bradley Stager on the left-hand side coming up the edge. He's going to beat his man. He's going to beat his man into the box, and the ball's still in play. Still in play. Stager goes back to Douglas. Douglas briefly mishandles, and it's going to be a corner kick to Christchurch, or excuse me, a throw-in to Christchurch.
Fullback A.M. Duke back there, number 16 for the Seahorses, is going to have his hands full. He's got a little size on Stager, but I don't think he's got Stager's speed.
It's Nolan Day who comes out on the losing end of a 50-50 ball. That's highly unusual, but the Tigers take it right back through Foley. Foley to Day. Day tries to go over to Stager. Instead, he gets Foley. Foley now gets Stager on the left-hand side. And it's back to Nolan Day in the center of the pitch. Trying to attack that left, the Tigers are, and they do to Edo Douglas, who is offside.
The Tigers have made their hay in the early minutes of this first half in the last couple of games, at least the last couple of games here, I should say, scoring against EHS in almost the first minute. And they look determined to try and put that early pressure onto the Seahorses here. Looks like we're going to have Duke sending the ball up from the free kick position now after that offsides call. I would expect the Tigers to try for a takeaway and an immediate comeback after this ball is brought down.
That's what the Tigers like to do. Is Christchurch only has two people forward. That's Zimian Coe, the most advanced Christchurch player. Joe Foley intercepts a pass at the midfield stripe, and it's Woody Scruggs who tries to put the ball between a defender's legs and over to Will Peak. But Will Peak loses possession, and that is Dean Bethel who starts the Christchurch attack. He tries to get the ball to Coe. Coe is being defended intensely by Justin Park. Coe gets the ball out to number 10 for Christchurch. We don't have a numerical roster, I just realized. It's in all kinds of orders, and so we're going to have to do our best to identify. But here's Joe Foley passing the ball up on the right-hand side this time to Stager. Stager beats his man. He goes to Foley, but Foley was going outside as the pass went in. Miscommunication, and the goalkeeper collects. No score, 4 minutes in.
A little quick flick there by Stager. A great idea, but it was not the same idea that Joe Foley was having, unfortunately.
Well, they'll get it together. Don't you worry. Joe Foley, the leading scorer on the team, I was asked by his family to check the numbers, and I did. And it is, in fact, look at him to be 100% sure, 4 goals for Joe Foley. 2 in the first game, one of which we called but was really an own goal. 2 in the first game, 1 in the second game, and 1 in the third. Nolan Day goes through to Bradley Stager. Bradley Stager has one man to beat, and good defense by number 8 for Christchurch, Brad Posick, the senior. His brother plays too, from Saluda, Virginia, and he shouldered Stager off the ball, because if he didn't do that, Stager was in.
Yeah, I'd have to call that one saving an actual goal by Posick there. There was no way Stager was going to miss that, and with the keeper coming out, he would have had a good angle as well.
So the Tigers passing it around their central defense. That's Graham Tyler. Tyler family probably listening from Louisville today. That's Tyler in the center of the pitch. Goes over to Woody Scruggs. Not a lot of forward pressure by the Seahorses. They're content to play in the midfield and try to get a break, it looks like, against this powerful Woodbury Forest offense. Justin Park over to Graham Tyler. We're about 4 minutes into today's game. Woodbury versus Christchurch. Varsity soccer on the Woodbury Forest Sports Network. This is Greg Jacobs with Pete Cashwell. If you're listening, tell me you're listening at Greg C. Jacobs. Tigers still maintaining nice possession. 80% possession probably in the first 5 minutes for the Tigers. Now Woody Scruggs can go up the pitch. He gets the ball to Jimmy King. Can Jimmy chase it down at the end? He does. At the byline, he centers it, and it is headed up. It's headed up, and Stager tried to put it in, but Parker Kirkmeyer was too quick for him as the ball deflected off a Christchurch defender.
Posick there once again tracing Stager's step, and right there in the goal face, that proved crucial because he was able to get up a little higher than Bradley was, put that ball out of the way and into the hands of goalkeeper Parker Kirkmeyer.
Joe Foley has almost stolen the ball. I think that it's going to be a throw-in to Woodbury Forest. Foley takes it quickly. I think you wait 3 years until Stager has a few years to grow into his frame. That would have been a goal. Stager, the freshman, of course, playing up front with Joe Foley, also the freshman. Nolan Day tries to center a ball for Will Peak. It's defended, but it's defended only as far as Joe Foley. Now Joe Foley going toward the byline. His centering pass is deflected, and the ball's ping-ponging everywhere in that penalty box, and it's going to belong to Woodbury for a throw.
Christchurch defense there getting their feet on the ball, but not making a lot of decisions about where they were sending it. That was almost purely reaction, and that's why Woodbury still has possession on the right sideline.
Jimmy King centers the ball off the throw-in, and it's headed out defensively by Dean Bethel.
Edo Douglas there setting up for the ball as it came across, and it looked like he might have a play on it, but the flick goes over his head after Christchurch gets a hold of it.
Edo with the throw-in, and now it's going to be centered by Will Peak to Joe Foley. Foley chests it down backwards for Justin Park. Justin looked like he was going to have a go from distance. He decided to try to find Stager instead, and it'll have to reset as the ball came back to him. This time he finds Nolan Day. Day is going to go all the way back to Woody Scruggs, but Scruggs is halfway into the defensive half of the pitch. And there's the pass into Day. It goes through him, and a whiff. Oh, a whiff by Will Peak. I think Will Peak was expecting it to come off the head of Day, and instead it fell right to Will Peak's feet, and it went through them for a goal kick.
The pressure that the Tigers are putting on there, you mentioned, Greg, how close Woody Scruggs is. Woody, who's playing on the defensive back line, was about 40 yards tops from the goal, from the Christchurch goal on that possession.
So Woodbury attacks again. Joe Foley to Will Peak. Will Peak's pass is intercepted deftly by, once again, number 10, Gene O. from Saluda, Virginia also. Joe Foley has a challenge on him by number 4 for Christchurch, Jack Corson, and he wins the throw, Foley does. It'll be Jimmy King on the near side to throw. We are 7 minutes in, no score, Woodbury Forest and Christchurch on a special edition of Thursday Soccer. Jimmy King tries to center it. He gets it to Stager. Stager's going to go back for Foley, but the ball is intercepted by Brent Altifer. And it's going to be a free kick to Christchurch. Referee Sean Agee says, hey, that's a foul.
I didn't see the foul, but there doesn't seem to be any argument about it, so we're going to go ahead and say the referee is completely correct.
Gene O takes possession. He goes to Dean Bethel. Bethel tries to go back to O, but it's intercepted by Day. Day to the right side to Foley. Stager making a run. Foley goes around his man. Stager resets toward the center, and it's going to go to Peak. They're going to let the midfielder make the decision this time. Now it goes to Zach Merritt, far left side. Once again, the defensemen are getting way up the pitch for the Tigers because there's simply no pressure on them in the defensive half for Woodbury. A nice 1-2 ball goes to Peak. Peak has a go from about 30 yards. It deflects to Foley. Foley goes to Day. Day, with a man nipping at his heels, comes back where there's still no pressure, and it's Zach Merritt.
The Tigers are so good about putting the ball back. They really do not try to take the ball where it can't go.
Joe Foley turns, he shoots, and it's deflected outside. The ball is still in play. Stager gets it. He gets it over to Douglas. Douglas shoots, and it's deflected just wide. Good goalkeeping by Parker Kirkmeyer, as it is, it's a throw-in. Wow. Even better for Kirkmeyer. I thought that was deflected for a corner kick, but it just kept hugging that line, and now it's a throw to Christchurch.
I don't see how it's a throw to Christchurch, because clearly there was some Woodbury guy there that wouldn't be a throw to them. But boy, it just rolled all the way from the near post to the corner of the field and never crossed the touchline.
So their first real opportunity goes to the Tigers, and no score about 9 minutes into today's game. Tigers at 2-1. This is their Prep League opener. Christchurch 0-2 in the Prep League already. I don't have their schedule, so I don't know who they've won or lost to. It's Edo Douglas in the middle of the pitch, and he's taking on O.
2 O's, Gene O, number 10, and number 9. Might be his brother, but I don't think so. That is Simeon. That's Simeon Code, not O.
Yeah, I got that one backwards. But there's Edo Douglas tries to go into the penalty box. A slide tackle away by T. Carrington means it's going to be a throw to the Tigers. The Tigers have had most of the possession, and most of it has been in the offensive half of the pitch for them. A clearance now by Bethel goes to Scruggs. Scruggs touched the ball with his hand. It came off of his thigh and to his hand. And that's going to be a free kick at midfield for Christchurch.
Look at all the white shirts down here, Greg. There's no forward pressure. In order to get enough guys to receive this free kick, the entire Christchurch offense has just had to run down the field to get in front of the ball. There's nobody there in the ordinary run of play.
So now it's Coe centrally, and he's got O right next to him. Scruggs, though, with the header, gets the ball out to Peak, and the Tigers will move the ball up the pitch. Peak with a man on him. He deftly goes around the challenge of Atkins. To Scruggs, to Day. Day to Peak, Peak to Day. Day looks for Stager, he doesn't have him. Instead he goes cross field to Douglas. Douglas with a nice chest down at the edge of the box. Douglas being challenged by number 7 for Christchurch, Grayson Rimby, and Rimby takes it out of the danger area.
Good bit of work there by Rimby, because that was a terrific setup pass by Norman Day, straight to the chest of Edo Douglas.
Good work by Justin Park, resets the offense for the Tigers. Jimmy King with a through ball to Stager on the right-hand side. Stager just outside the box. He's going to go to the byline, makes a little nifty 1-2 move, and goes back to King. King with the cross to Day. Day had to take the ball about waist high with his foot, and he ended up putting it over the bar.
But still, an awfully nice set of passes there to set up that cross to Nolan. And though we can't be completely satisfied with the results of that, I'm encouraged by the fact that the Tigers are continuing to put pressure on this Seahorse defense. It has bent, but it has not yet broken.
Now is a great time to visit the Fir Tree, Woodbury Forest's only snack bar, the Fir Tree. Would you like to get some Fir Tree? Would you like to get some Fir Tree? Would you like to get some Fir Tree? Let's all have some Fir Tree now. The Fir Tree, Woodbury Forest's only snack bar.
Substitution in the defense of the Seahorses now in the left-hand back position. Jack Corson stepping out now. Santi Meneses stepping on as the left back.
That was a good length of a commercial for the pause in play, as nothing was happening as we were waiting for Corson to leave the field. He's all right, he's off, and the Tigers are back on the attack. Jimmy King's pass for Nolan Day goes through the legs of one of the Christchurch players, that's Santi Meneses, and it gets all the way across the pitch to Zach Merritt. Merritt goes to Day. Day looks like he's got Scruggs. Scruggs is now about 30 yards from the goal. He chips the ball in, but he misread the run of Stager. It's put out to Day, to Scruggs, to Foley, and outside to King on the right. King will take the ball as far as he can down the right-hand side of the pitch. He's got 2 on him, looking to get the cross in. He does. It's a good cross. There's Nolan Day. Oh, a good defensive header, but it gets Douglas. Now Will Peak is going to take the ball out of the box and reset. You know he wants to shoot. His heels were clipped, and Will Peak is going to win a kick just outside the penalty box.
Man, another great cross there. Jimmy King has shown an ability to put the ball to the far post over the last couple of weeks, and we saw another great example of it right there. And though it didn't actually succeed in the cross, it sets Will Peak up for this free kick, which is placed at about the 21-yard line, I'd say.
It's 0-0. We're 12 minutes into today's game, Woodbury Forest versus Christchurch. But now the Tigers, the dangerous free kick. It's Nolan Day. He misses it, and he goes to Will Peak, who shoots and scores! Off the free kick, Nolan Day pretended to kick it into the far post, and instead he left it for Peak. It looked like the wall had moved ever so slightly to its right, and Will Peak puts it in left-footed to the far post, which is closer to us, and it's 1-0 Tigers.
That was a great little bit of misdirection, because when Day came up to it, he approached it from the Tigers' right, and that caused the defense to shift to the Tigers' left. That little bit of shifting left a little bit of space between the wall and the post, and Will Peak nailed it. Perfect shot.
Well, you know Will Peak loves to shoot, so the first goal goes to the Tigers. It's Peak in the 14th minute of today's game, and it's 1-0 Tigers. But there's Coe on the counterattack for Christchurch. But Foley is there to intervene. Ball goes to Atkins, though, on the deflection. Will Atkins, the senior midfielder from Fredericksburg. He passes the ball back to Dean Bethel. Bethel back to number 14 for Christchurch, T. Carrington. And Carrington ends up putting the ball off of Stager and almost all the way up into the broadcast tower. That's a high kick, folks. There's Will Peak, the goal scorer, who goes to Tyler. Tigers on the offensive again. The defensive wingers, the people on the right and left side of the defense are Scruggs and Merritt, and they have not been marked hardly at all. They have all kinds of space to work with.
Usually we're talking about their defensive skills. Really, right now we're talking much more about their distributed skills. They are serving balls up for the middies and for the forwards because they have absolutely no pressure on them.
You know that song that you listen to? I think it's the Mountain Goats, All Kinds of Time? Yeah, it's
Fountains of Wind.
Yes. Oh, okay. All kinds of space for the Tigers. Yeah. As Will Peak takes the ball with a man on him, he tries to feed Stager at the top of the box, and he can't quite get it there. Intercepted. Coe will break away.
We've also got a new man on the forward line. There's number 19. That is Miles McGivery.
McGivery takes the ball down the right-hand side. He centers the ball in, and Thomas Lee is alert because he had to be, because bearing down on him was Gene O, the senior.
And O is a big target, too. He's got to stand at least 6'2". And when the ball came at him, I was worried for a second. But Thomas Lee definitely dropped to the ground for the save.
So the first real attack for Christchurch, first real danger moment for Woodbury, but Woodbury leads 1-0 as Thomas Lee deals with the danger. Zach Merritt on the far left side of the pitch. Jimmy King pinching in a little bit, looking to catch this pass. So that was a good job by Merritt finding King. Ball comes out to Peak. Peak goes to Foley. Foley looking for King. Instead, he goes to Peak, who's going to shoot from distance, and it's deflected out as far as King.
Can have a right foot there, but it's not, you can't, even if you're Will Peak, you can't kick a ball through a guy.
Could tunnel. Quantum tunneling allows that by the laws of physics. Here's Will Peak at the top of the box. Once again, he's going to try to get off the left-footed shot. He can't. It goes to Justin Park, who tried about a 40-yard attempt, and that's well wide.
I think he was also somewhat hampered by the fact that there was a guy standing in front of him, in this case Will Peak. That sort of blocked off one part of the goal, and Justin, rather than hammering the ball into his captain's chest, thought maybe he'd take it a little to the left. Off goal, alas.
16 minutes in, 1-0 in favor of the Tigers. Will Peak with the goal in the 14th minute off the set piece. Not just off the set piece, it was the set piece. It was a free kick into the far post, and it was beautiful. Ball at midfield going back and forth, but it's going to belong to the Tigers. It's going to be Zach Merritt with the throw. He goes to Nolan Day. Day is being harassed by Atkins. Ball goes out, throw in to Christchurch. Friends, the Amasai Fund provides for a third of the operating budget of the school, including for special events like this very broadcast. Won't you send in your donation today? The Amasai Fund.
Shout out to one of our ball men, Richard Cirillo, on top of the sideline situation here on the midfield side. Can't tell you who's on the far side because we're too far away.
Oh, I can see it's Patrick McDonald because I can't see him, but I saw him behind the goal before the game, so I knew it was him. Shortstop for the Tigers. And here's Jimmy King, who has the ball on the near sideline. He's going to cut inside. A left-footed cross goes off of a Christchurch defender. It's going to be cleared towards Scruggs. Scruggs, who's pinched way up, tries to center the ball for Peak. The centering pass is intercepted by by O, and now O is coming up the field. He has got McGivery on the near sideline. Instead, he goes far sideline to number 7 for Christchurch. That's Rimby. Rimby is being harassed by Merritt, and he's going to go back to O.
4 guys have advanced for the Seahorses. They don't have the manpower to handle this because Woodbury's dropped all the middies back, plus the 4 backs. They've got to figure out a way to make these disadvantages.
McGivery goes by King, but then he trips over the ball, and thank goodness because he had the goalie and Graham Tyler to beat. It was going to be a dangerous moment, but McGivery tripped on the ball, and it's going to be Joe Foley who takes it. And the Tigers can reset. Hey, Jimmy King had to play some defense. He's been an offensive force so far. But the Christchurch Seahorses did mount an attack, and it almost went somewhere, let's put it that way. Nolan Day passes in towards Stager. It's put out of danger on a defensive header. And it's going to be Jimmy King to reset again to Joe Foley. Out to King. King on the near side. Can he put in a third beautiful cross of the day? He instead goes back toward Peak. Peak with a through ball toward King. King cannot get to the byline this time, although he did put in a pretty nice cross.
Yeah, once he got there.
Yeah, the problem is the ball was out of bounds before he did that.
What we're starting to see from Christchurch is, for one thing, we can tell you that their center midfielder here, Gene O, is a big, strong, fast player. He advanced the ball pretty much from the 18 of Christchurch to the 18 of Woodbury with very little help. if he gets some help, and he's certainly got some guys out there who got some speed, for example, Remby, he's going to be dangerous.
Joe Foley takes the goal kick and immediately gets Woodbury on the attack. Foley tries to chip for Day. It was a good chip, but Day was defended well by Christchurch. And now the ball is out. The defender there was Brett Posick, the senior. His brother plays, so I'm trying to differentiate between Brett Posick and Evan Posick. I guess Evan's not on the field, is he?
Oh dear.
Uh-oh, this is bad news as McGivery takes a shot and it's wide. McGivery took he intercepted a pass and it was all him. McGivery just had to beat Lee, but he beat him wide. No danger.
Thomas had that pretty much pegged from the beginning, and as Woodbury's defense was closing in on McGivery, he fired that shot off a little earlier, I think, perhaps than he wanted to, but he was just worried that the defender would provide too much of a challenge, and as a result, not the highest quality shot Woodbury's had to see Thomas Lee handle.
So Woodbury's had most of the possession, probably 75%. Christchurch has had their opportunities, though, especially in the past 5 minutes. Had 3 good opportunities, no goals to show for it, and the Tigers lead 1-0. We are in the 21st minute here at the class of 2006 track. Varsity soccer, Woodbury Forest and Christchurch.
Things seem to be slowing down a little bit out here, Greg. I'm not sure what it is. A little bit less motion off the ball for the Tigers in some places.
Of course, Graham Tyler, as you say that, goes straight for Bradley Stager to Joe Foley. They're right down at the edge of the penalty box. Joe Foley trying to kick in. Instead, he gets to Day. Day does put in the through ball toward Douglas. Douglas across the face of goal, but collected by Kirkmeyer. Nothing doing.
Will Keith was the man Douglas was heading that pass toward, and he was marked all the way. But good work there by the goalkeeper to snag it before that issue came up.
Justin Park with some good defensive work at the midfield stripe, and he gets the ball to Zach Merritt. One of the things that differentiated the Tigers from the Maroon of Episcopal was their fitness. Maroon got tired. The Episcopal High School got tired on Tuesday, and the Tigers were still going, despite the fact that Woodbury didn't put in that many substitutions. And it's going to be Christchurch who collects and plays a long ball, but that's going to be easily dealt with by Graham Tyler. He's going to go all the way back to Thomas Lee as McGivery decides not to chase too hard in this afternoon, not heat. I mean, we're not dealing with those 85-degree days that you sometimes get in late September here, but it's warm. Sun's out, mid-70s. Tigers are going to have to be fit to play 90 minutes of football, but they always seem to be. Coach Len Mills has done a great job getting this team prepared, both strategically and what's the word that I'm looking for? Tactically. Tactically, and I'm just talking conditional in terms of their conditioning. Yes, physically, that's the word I like. Jimmy King down the right-hand side of the pitch. He centers the ball toward Bradley Stager, but it's dealt with nicely by the defender, number 12. I'll find out who that is in a moment because Nolan Day goes to Graham Tyler. Tyler back to Foley. Foley over to Peak. Peak right back to Foley, and it's intercepted nicely by Christchurch, number 15, who's not on my roster.
Yep. We're working with that occasionally. Numbers get changed from the roster to the jersey. We have a lot of players who, for example, home jerseys don't match their away jerseys. So only give number 15 credit for good defensive play there, but alas, we cannot identify him.
If anybody knows who he is, tweet me at Greg C. Jacobs, and I'll take a look. Woody Scruggs playing now almost all the way up to the edge of the 18 box. And he centers that pass. It's going to be kicked out for a corner. Good work by Dean Bethel defensively, but the Tigers will get the corner kick out of that.
And who's coming up to do the corner kick?
Nolan Day.
That's not good news if you're a Christchurch fan, folks, because Nolan put in one of the prettiest free kicks I can remember seeing in years in our game against EHS just Tuesday, and that resulted in a very pretty goal.
So Day goes toward a lofting corner kick toward the far post. Joe Foley tried to push somebody out of the way to get to it, and he was unsuccessful.
But you know what that tells me? Christchurch watched the film for Tuesday.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. But now a counterattack. McGivery going 1-on-3 against the Woodbury back line. He's doing a good job. A slide tackle by Woody Scruggs takes the ball away from McGivery and starts Woodbury on a counterattack of their own. King to Bradley Stager. Stager has the ball top of the box, and coming in very quickly at the edge of that is Brett Altifer, who avoids the Woodbury shot.
And another great slide tackle by Scruggs, but no avail. The ball's intercepted and kicked downfield by the Seahorses. So Tigers have used Woody Scruggs' ability to slide tackle to get him out of a jam and set up another offensive possession.
Brent Altifer prevented a goal right there, I think. That's twice a Christchurch defender has made a last-ditch clearance. Now the Tigers going up again. Jimmy King goes outside to Nolan Day. Day will, he almost put a cross in. Instead, he's going back to King. King on the near sideline puts a cross in towards Stager. It's headed away by Altifer. Now it's going to be Nolan Day trying to get the header and finally cleared by Dean Bethel. He cleared only as far as Foley. Foley looks for King. King, who's been the quarterback of this offense on the near sideline, goes around the defender. That's Santi Meneses. King goes around. He keeps the ball in, but it's going to be in the possession of Christchurch, and they're going to come away for it.
Jimmy's had a busy time on the right-hand side this afternoon, that's for sure. Here comes Justin Park with a nice takeaway.
Justin Park took the ball away from Gene O, but Gene O's pass is deflected. Will Peak with a shot from about 20 yards. That goes wide.
Given how successful the Tigers can be with a little patience, I almost hate to see a shot from that far out because they're so good at the center crosses we have seen, the quick 1-2, the give and go. I just feel like sometimes that big boom kick from 25, 30 yards out is just a sign of frustration that we haven't been able to get more goals. And we will.
It's 1-0 here at Class of 2006 track. 25 minutes in against Christchurch. The goal was by Will Peak off of a set piece. And here is Joe Foley. Joe Foley to Jimmy King. Jimmy King is cut inside this time. He's going to go through one man, going toward the end line, and it's kicked out of bounds for a Woodbury corner.
Oh, I thought Jimmy had a great opportunity there. A nice pass over from the left-hand side by Joe Foley to set it up. Now we're going to see a corner kick, which once again will involve Mr. Nolan Day. And our captain will doubtless try to deliver the ball to a teammate in a scoring position here.
Yeah, it was Nolan Day to Joe Foley on the corner kick attempt on Tuesday. Let's see if they can do it again. Second corner for the Tigers. Day up. That's Park in the box. It heads off of him and back toward Will Peak. Will Peak now having to back up. He's got Woody Scruggs all the way across the pitch. Gets the ball to Scruggs. Scruggs tries to get the ball essentially for Foley. It comes back to Justin Park. Now it's Will Peak on the far edge of this penalty box. He's trying to get Douglas, but instead he's going to come backwards and get Merrick. Merrick gets Douglas on a nice one-touch pass. Douglas back to Will Peak. Will Peak's through ball is intercepted, but it comes right back to him, so he gets the ball to Woody Scruggs. Woody Scruggs, who's pinched in even more, takes a shot this time. Woody Scruggs, the defender, takes a shot, and it was going wide. It was always going wide by a little bit, but Kirkmeyer saved it nonetheless.
I'll take back what I said about long shots, because that one almost worked. That one came very close because of the packed-in nature of the center of the field. Woody Scruggs out to the right slightly, nearly sneaked that into a corner.
It's O on the ball for Christchurch. Gets the ball to Bethel. Tigers trying to run up and intercept this. They work hard. When they lose the ball, they work very hard to get it back. And they do not get it back as Christchurch has won a free kick in their defensive half.
Not sure what the nature of the call here is. There's no card.
It's just a free kick back in the defensive half. I think the ref was waiting to play advantage.
Yeah, I think it may have been an incidental handball, actually. I thought the ball bounced up off Foley's arm. I guess I was right.
The referee today is Sean Agee. He's assisted on the lines by Bill Gannon and Cal Fowler. Tigers will take possession at midfield through Joe Foley. Foley to Day. Day to Peak. Peak coming out of the center circle. He's got a man on him. He goes back to Stager, who's come out farther than we've seen him in a while. Stager over to Zach Merritt. Merritt centers the ball for Foley. Foley lets it ride for King with a one-touch shot! And it's wide and saved by Kirkmeyer.
Nice leave there by Joe Foley. I didn't see Jimmy King in position on that until the ball was pretty much at Joe Foley's feet. And Jimmy almost nailed that.
Yeah, what a snapshot by King. I don't think King expected to get the ball. Foley with good instincts letting the ball run for his winger. Christchurch takes possession through A.M. Duke, the sophomore. Duke is going to try to feed McGivery, but the Tigers' defense is there. McGivery is playing as a lone striker with everybody else for Christchurch in their own half of the pitch. So McGivery's going 1-on-3 most of the time.
Well, McGivery from London, England, seems to be the only gentleman currently trusted with setting up the Christchurch offense. Here he goes.
Yeah, here comes McGivery. He's got a man with him now. With him is number 15. And it's a shot from distance from McGivery, and it goes very high.
He had a lot of velocity on that ball. So maybe I understand a little better now, having seen him get off a good shot, why they trust him with that offense. The previous shot he put up was not particularly special. That one was a big boomer from the right-hand corner of the penalty box as the Christchurch offense moved down the field. Off goal, but still an impressive piece of work, at least in the sense of kicking the ball really hard, really high, and really fast.
McGivery from London, I asked the head coach, Matthew Schaefer of Christchurch, I said, well, who does he root for if he's a London guy? Which of the London soccer teams does he support? He says, oh, all of them. I said, no, come on, no way. He says, well, he thinks QPR is the closest, so we'll go with that. Ooh. A long, long ball for Jimmy King. Jimmy King running onto it. King's got some speed, and it's going to be, he's not going to get there in front of Dean Bethel. Dean Bethel's going to put it out of play for a throw into the Tigers. But what a cross by, who was it who sent that?
If I'm not mistaken, that was Peak, yeah. A nice long booming ball down to Jimmy King, and a sudden shift from the defensive to the offensive posture here for the Tigers.
Going to have a substitution for the Tigers. That's Gresham Walmsley coming in on the left-hand side for Edo Douglas.
Walmsley is an offensive-minded player, and they're definitely putting him in at a time when he can be used for that.
Jimmy King's throw goes to Nolan Day. Day was definitely elbowed out, or not elbowed, it was shouldered out of the way by Carrington, and it's going to be a throw to the Tigers.
Unfortunately, the last long ball we talked about put Richard Cirillo way the heck out of position to get the ball back here. So thanks to the folks down on the sideline there for providing us with the throw-in ball we need.
That was JV soccer player June Suh who got it to us. Nolan Day passes the ball in toward Graham Tyler. 30 minutes in, scores 1-0 in favor of Woodbury Forest on Will Peak's free kick in the 14th minute. Merritt puts the ball toward Peak. Peak is knocked down. Ball is stolen, and Peak tries to get it right back. Nice work by Dean Bethel to take the ball away from Peak, but Peak gets it right back, goes to Foley. Foley to Peak, Peak to Foley. Foley's got 2 to aim for in the box. Instead, he goes back to Merritt. Merritt goes to Justin Park. Tigers in firm control right now. I just say that, and Christchurch comes away with it. Will Atkins tries to lead an attack. It gets back toward Brendan Brown, and the ball is out of bounds. Who's going to get it? Throw to Woodbury. Joe Foley goes back toward Zach Merritt, and the Tigers will send the ball into their own half of the pitch. Ball has not been in the Tigers' half of the pitch very much today.
Brief outbursts of activity there, but for the most part, you're absolutely right, Greg. It's been packed in at the sound of the big blue folks.
Gresham Walmsley with his first touch. He gets the ball over to Woody Scruggs, who keeps creeping closer and closer and closer. He's going to walk the ball into the goal pretty soon. He puts a through ball into Stager on the near sideline. Stager looking for the cross. He gets it, and it's put out of bounds for a Woodbury corner kick by number 12, Brent Altifer, the senior from Reedville, Virginia. Tigers will have a corner.
And once again, Nolan Day setting up for this free kick from the side there. He's put 2 balls beautifully right in near the far post, and Justin Park and Joe Foley are the 2 heads he's aiming for.
And here they come. It's going to be Park, but no, it's going to be headed away by Altifer before anybody can get to it. Nolan Day is going to let that run out for a throw. He takes it quickly to Park. Justin Park is running back toward his defensive position, but he stops to give the ball to Woody Scruggs first, and Nolan Day takes over. Scruggs on the near sideline. They're going to go all the way back to Grant Tyler.
It's kind of a chance to reset things here. The Christchurch defense is packed back hard. They've got 5 guys basically across the 18. They're sort of daring Woodbury to come near them. It's making for a much more challenging play for the Tiger offense, which is used to having a little bit more space in which to operate. But they're going to have to score some goals somehow or other if they want to catch up in this 1-0 game.
Nolan Day has his pass for Peak intercepted, and Christchurch on that counterattack you were just speaking of. Here's number 15, back to McGivery. McGivery tries to get around Scruggs and does. McGivery unloads from distance, blocked by Graham Tyler, and the ball deflects off Tyler's side all the way up to Joe Foley. Now the Tigers are well and truly on a counterattack with Christchurch up the field. They're trying to get back feverishly, and the Blue Shirts finally do get behind the ball. Will Peak still in possession. He goes to Foley, and there is the interception by Altifer.
Did you see Grayson Rimby hustling back on defense on the Christchurch right? Man, he's got speed. I really was expecting the Tigers to just take it down and take it in from the offensive left, and Rimby got back in time to disrupt that entire play.
Tigers in possession. 33 minutes into today's game. Score 1-0 in favor of the Tigers. The Will Peak goal off the free kick in the 14th minute is what did it. Just a left-footed screamer into the far post. Christchurch breaks up another Woodbury advance, and it's going to be a throw into the Tigers.
There you again, you see 6 blue jerseys in the box with 2 more just outside it. This defense is really, really collapsed back in a desperate attempt to keep anything from happening on the Tiger offensive end. Carter Friddle now stepping in on the left-hand side. Actually, he's coming into forward position, looks like, at least replacing Joe Foley.
Yeah, Foley's been a bit under the weather. He missed practice yesterday, had a touch of the sniffles, but he slept all day yesterday, and he says, he says he's about 80%. I never know what that means. How do you know that you're 80%, not 85% or 95%? But he says he's feeling good, is the way I'll put it. Christchurch takes possession. That's Bethel, has it in the midfield, and they play it back toward T. Carrington. Carrington gets it past Walmsley. He tried to get it to Bethel, but instead it's Justin Park, and the Tigers are on the ball.
Well, Jimmy King is being left way, way, way too much alone here, folks.
And King goes up. Oh, he miscommunicated with Day. Jimmy gave him the through ball, and Day wanted the pass back to him. But Jimmy King, working hard, wins the ball right back off of number 12 is Altifer.
Altifer's everywhere. I keep finding him in a different part of the pitch than I expected him to be. Center, left, right, forward, back, doesn't matter.
And Woody Scruggs has also been all over the pitch today. He gets the ball to Jimmy King. King wanted Stager, and he's got him, but Stager is offside. Only the second offside call against the Tigers today.
A bit more offside activity on Tuesday, that aggressive Tiger offense was giving the Maroon fits, but they couldn't quite stay in line with it.
Gresham Walmsley wins back possession and goes to Jimmy King near sideline. Stager makes a little spin move and tries to get open. Jimmy King still on the ball. King trying to put in one of his patented crosses, but instead T. Carrington clears. The clearance is only as far as Park, who heads the ball to Day. Day goes back to Scruggs, who goes central to Graham Tyler.
Now, after some frustration on the right-hand side, it's decided that the left hand of the defense now needs a little bit of attention.
Carter Friddle goes towards Stager. Stager right back to Friddle on the outside of his foot. Very nice. Friddle trying to pass centrally, but instead he goes back to Stager on the far side of the pitch. Justin Park will take the ball in the center of the pitch. He goes over toward Jimmy King. What a nice pass, but it was intercepted at the last minute by Christchurch. And referee Agee has spotted a foul. It's going to be a free kick to Christchurch.
I think he was upset that Park leaned in so hard on that last header. Justin Park will put his head on the ball at the least provocation, and if you get in his way, he may or may not notice you.
Christchurch with a free kick deep in their own territory, but that allows them to get 4 men forward. That one's going toward Atkins. Atkins heads it, but he's got 2 white shirts taking the ball away from him, and Carter Friddle is going to be outrun by Grayson Rimby. You were right that Rimby is fast. I mean, he gained ground on Friddle like that.
Friddle has a big, long stride that gets him down the field quite early.
Jimmy King on the right-hand side tries to pass toward Day, but the ball is intercepted by the Seahorses, and they're going to start an attack through Rimby. Rimby to McGivery. McGivery 1-on-3, but he's got a lot of strength. He keeps going down the pitch. He goes over to Atkins. Atkins is deflected on his pass by Tyler, and Tyler will need as you please. Oh, I was going to say he was going to clear need as you please, but Atkins wins the ball back from him. Atkins tries to center for McGivery. It goes past him, and it's going to be taken by Nolan Day. Tigers clear the danger, and they're on the attack again. Gresham Walmsley at midfield. He wants Stager, but instead keeps it on the near sideline because Stager wasn't open. Gresham Walmsley down the near sideline. He's got it again, a little hesitation move. Walmsley tries to cut inside, and instead T. Carrington's going to have to put the ball out for a Woodbury corner. Nice work by Walmsley.
Carrington has had a little bit of a busy afternoon here over on the defensive left for the Seahorses because Jimmy King and now Gresham Walmsley and Woody Scruggs, for that matter, are constantly trying to push the ball to the touchline and put it back for a cross. That just seems to be the theme of the offense here today. And so far, Carrington has managed to keep them from doing any damage, but they're certainly not giving him any kind of laps.
Substitutions including Holden White for Christchurch. Here comes the corner. Justin Park got an open header. It went wide, and it goes over to Walmsley. Walmsley, one centering pass is intercepted. The other centering pass is deflected and now cleared by Christchurch.
I think that's the only time I've ever seen Justin Park go for a header that he couldn't quite get a solid head on.
Yeah, went off the side of his head.
Yeah. Bit of velocity probably causing him some trouble there, but at the very least, the Tigers still maintain possession and are once again trying to get the ball moving.
1-0 Tigers. Christchurch playing the advantage as one of their players was taken out, And instead, it's going to be intercepted by Day. Day to King. Christchurch racing back to cover. And Jimmy King is on the ball. Little back heel by King is taken by Holden White, and White will move the ball up the pitch. White to Brendan Brown. Brendan Brown is dispossessed by Justin Park, but unfairly as Park draws the free kick.
Lots of action here in the center of the field. But we're going to once again see a few of the blue shirts now moving into Woodbury's half of the pitch as this Christchurch defense, which has been pretty defensive, tries to transform itself into some sort of scoring offense, hoping to equalize in the next few minutes. How much time we got before halftime, Greg?
We have about 6 minutes before halftime. Atkins goes to the far sideline to O. O tries to run inside. He takes a long shot. He didn't get quite the power on it he wanted to, and it's going to be collected by Thomas Lee.
So far, all the shots that we've seen from Christchurch have been from distance. There's not been any kind of attempts to take the ball inside the 18 and try and get a quick cross and a short shot on everything's a big blue shot.
Well, they tried twice. One time they tripped over the ball, and one time they did get a good cross in, and Thomas Lee stoned it. But you're right, everything else has been a shot from distance. Here's O. O is dispossessed on the far sideline by Merritt, but O wins it right back. O to McGivery. McGivery, ooh, nice little footwork there. Beats Carter Friddle momentarily, and Christchurch resets their offense. Wow, I haven't said that very often today. There is Brown. Brown tries to go centrally, but instead it's going to be cleared by Woodbury's central defender. That's Graham Tyler. Graham Tyler gets the ball up to Gresham Walmsley, and Walmsley is going to have to fight with Atkins to get the ball, and it's a foul. Let's see. The flag was waving in the air. It's going to be a foul against Woodbury Forests. I think it's against Gresham Walmsley, and it's going to be a free kick to Christchurch.
I think they were calling it for playing the man as the ball came to the outskirts of the field here rather than playing the ball.
Ted Blaine coming down, and also Woodbury's favorite faculty soccer supporters, both Lonergans, both Liz and Kelly here. Even though Peter's graduated, they come to a lot of the games. It's going to be Altifer, Brent Altifer, to take the kick. It's about midfield where he took it from. He tried to put it in the box, and there was no run made. I think he was expecting Holden White to run up the pitch.
Look, Woody Scruggs here setting up to head the ball out. Suddenly here's the bellow of peek from Thomas Lee and immediately lays off.
Yeah, you might have heard that from up here. Thomas Lee is a soft-spoken character, but not when he is between the pipes. Nolan Day wins the ball at the center of the pitch. About 5 minutes to halftime, folks. Tigers lead 1-0 on the Will Peak goal. Glad you're listening. If you would like to email Greg_Jacobs at Woodbury.org. Hopefully, if the email works today, I'll get to your emails at halftime. And if you'd like to tweet at Greg C. Jacobs. Here's Altifer, here's Atkins. Atkins coming through. It's a 2-on-2 break for Christchurch. They got a third man in the box, and it was O who couldn't quite catch up with the pass from Atkins. The second real danger from Christchurch. They almost put that ball in, but instead it's going to be a counterattack through Stager and Peak. And Stager gets the ball to the near sideline to King. King back to Peak. Peak leaves it for Stager. Stager tries to go through two guys, and he wins. He actually gets there until finally the ball is put out of play by Brent Pausick.
8 Christchurch defenders in the box, Greg. That's what Bradley Stager just dribbled through. Well, he dribbled through 7 of them.
And that's impressive for Christchurch because that was a counterattack.
Yeah.
Christchurch somehow got 7 men behind the ball after the Tigers were on a veritable counterattack.
All right, some wholesale substitutions now for the Tigers. I can see Andy Park now in on the right midfield. Edo Douglas is back in on the left-hand side. And I know I've missed someone, but I can't see. Oh, Joe Foley back in on the forward side.
Justin Park takes possession. Woody Scruggs on the right-hand side. He cuts inside. He's cutting in more and more. He takes a shot again. This time it's just pitch and catch for the goalkeeper, Kirkmeyer.
I think he just sort of feels like, okay, fine, don't mark me. I can shoot. I've got a perfectly good foot. I'll be happy to take it from out here because he's not that far away, and they keep letting him get up to about the 25.
He's hoping somebody comes out and marks him because that's one fewer to be on Stager and Foley up at the top of the Tigers formation. Nolan Day takes possession of the midfield stripe. He's being harassed by Atkins, so instead they have to pass it back to Justin Park. Park's pass to Andy Park is intercepted, but then intercepted again by Woody Scruggs.
And then intercepted again. No, now we have a free kick.
Yeah, Scruggs was fouled. That's why Scruggs' pass was intercepted. and the Tigers will go again. It's Will Peak. Will Peak looks for Andy Park, but instead goes to Justin Park in the center of the pitch. It is 43 minutes into today's game, 2 minutes until halftime, plus whatever extra time the referee chooses to add. Intercepted cross on the far side by O, gets the ball to Atkins. Atkins tries to go right back to O on the 1-2, and he doesn't quite get it there. Edo Douglas, the left footer, tries to go around Atkins. That's a good battle there, Atkins versus Douglas. And it's won by neither of them, as Zach Merritt came away with the ball that was deflected off several bodies. Justin Park, midfield, goes toward Woody Scruggs. Scruggs' pass is poor, and it's a counterattack by McGivery. Justin Park manages to get back and avert a dangerous counterattack. Yeah, Woody Scruggs knew what he had done right away. I think he slipped, and his pass was not as powerful as he intended. And he said, darn it, right away, and he got back into the defensive posture. But the Tigers on the attack one more time. That's Will Peak. Will Peak has Douglas on the left-hand side, but he's being harassed, so he gets the ball back toward Zach Merritt. Merritt up to Foley. Foley looking to know where to go. He goes to Douglas on the left-hand side. Douglas looking for a cross. Douglas looking for a cross again. Now, I think he wanted a corner. Did he win it? No, he did not. No, he did not. On the near side, that was referee Connor, let me make sure I get his name right, Bill Gannon. Bill Gannon was right on top of that, and when Joe Foley looked over to say, hey, did I win that corner? He said, he just points at the ground saying, nope, it was still in. Now Edo Douglas again tries a cross. He gets the cross across, and he gets a shot by Gresham. Walmsley goes through Walmsley's legs and back toward Andy Park. But it's going to be another clearance toward Woody Scruggs. Scruggs to Foley. Oh. Foley tried to get Walmsley in. Instead, he has his own chance to go in against two guys, and Foley maintains possession top of the box until finally O manages to clear it, but only as far as Peak, whose shot goes wide.
Wow, lots of action right there in front of the Christchurch goal, and I think the Seahorses have to consider themselves lucky they're not down 2-0.
Yeah, it was, I can't even describe all of the happenings that happened. Walmsley came in with a sliding two-footed chance to get the ball into the goal, and I thought he had it, but I think it missed the top foot and went over